everybody. Welcome back. I'm Kurt Roth. This is the 505 Sports Venture Program. It's our weekly attempt to discuss Lobo athletics, what's going on at UNM, and the importance of our work, name, image, and likeness, and what that means to the success of student athletes on the field and in the classroom. Each week we come hopefully with an interesting guest. We've got one again today who we're going to meet after the first break. But what we're here to talk about is, at UNM, is recognition, retention, and recruitment. Those are the 3 R's of the name, image, and likeness movement. If you follow college athletes, you're all familiar with the transfer portal and how volatile that can be in shaping a roster and keeping your roster. Consistency has become fairly rare in the college athletic field. So what we aim to do is create opportunities, name, image, and likeness opportunities for our student athletes, keep them in the community, keep them in the classroom, and thus keep them on the field. So we're asking for your help. It's 505sports.org. You can check us out. You can read all about us. And, of course, you can make a donation, which is one of the greatest things in the world. So that's 505sports.org. Read it, check it out, and help us out. If you watched the football game last week, you saw an incredible performance by our quarterback. We'll talk about that right after the break. But do you want to see an incredible performance by that quarterback next year? 505sports.org. Check it out. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Jacory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Try this shit better than all my intentions. I can show that you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Kurt Roth and you're watching the 505 SVF program. I was remiss in our opening talk to mention my great producer Adrian from Whittier, president of ProView, and owner Steve Davis up the stairs, who gives us this opportunity to come to you every week. All right, well, I've got a special guest. He's been on before. Very important person in Albuquerque. Sean Reeder from the Albuquerque Journal, beat writer for beat writer for the Journal. Hey, everybody, I am an old school guy. I get the newspaper delivered to my door. And this, what I'm telling you is if you follow Lobo Athletics, no matter what sport, the coverage is great. It's vital to get the Journal to you, whether it's online or I'm old school, like say, I like the newspaper. But local journalism is important to Albuquerque. If we don't have the Albuquerque Journal working, where are you going to get your news from? You want to get national news about sports, politics, whatever? It's the Albuquerque Journal. You've got to subscribe. Anyway, Sean, thanks for coming. Interesting time in Lobo football. Just turned September. The Lobos are one of two teams that are 0-2. And there's an optimistic outlook. The other team, of course, Florida State. Disaster. Tallahassee's on fire. They're 0-2. It's college football is great.
I know. Thank you for having me on, and it is great to have college football back. It is, as you mentioned, kind of a weird dynamic. Florida State is 0-2 before week 2, and it feels like Tallahassee's about to blow. And UNM is 0-2 before week 2, and it kind of feels like, at least from some of the fans that I've seen, that things are more rosy than they've been in the past.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We saw, obviously, a heartbreaker, game 1. Didn't get to talk about that. A heartbreaker. And I think you can put all the positives on it, and it was a better look. It wasn't just a collapse. It was a series of kind of strange things happen. Lobos played well for 55 minutes, but you have to win that game. But now you go to Tucson, top 25 team, and we saw a future NFL player on the Wildcats.
Yeah, Tetsuya McMillan, I think it was 10 receptions for 304 receiving yards and 4 TDs, 3 of them in the first half. Really kind of, I don't want to say kept them afloat in the first half, but I mean, he was an impossible matchup for a lot of UNM and for most of the night, honestly. And, yeah, McMillan was, I mean, he's 6'5", 212 pounds. You knew he was going to be, a bear to kind of deal with down the field and across the field and all that. But they kept moving around, and he ended up compiling the most receiving yards for a single player in a single game in Arizona program history, and the most that UNM has ever given up in program history. I think the other record was set by, oh man, I'm blanking on his first name, Spurlock, the former Boise State receiver.
Okay, right.
And he did that on 20 receptions on a day. So, yeah, just an absurd performance from McMillan, and a really good night from quarterback Noah Fafita, too.
Yeah, really good night by the quarterback. Accurate, calm in the pocket. But I was just blown away by McMillan. It was the crossing play where he went to the end zone. I saw that. You could see it develop. He got the ball, and you knew what was going to happen. He just outraced guys. Reminded me of Randy Moss. I just saw this guy running across the field, and I was like, whoa, that's a different dude. Now, I believe he was honored. One of the groups gave him Offensive Player of the Week, National Offensive Player of the Week. So the good thing is we got to see a great player up close. The better thing is we won't see another dude like him this year. I don't think we'll see any player that magnitude. He's been touted as a top 10 draft pick.
Yeah, and there's a ton of really, really, really talented receivers in the Mountain West in terms of Torrey Horton, Jalen Royals, New Mexico Dodgers, Ricky White this year, but Ricky White had his fair share last year. Jalen Moss on Fresno State. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know for sure. But I'm assuming there is not a true McMillan-like talent.
No.
Scheduled for UNM.
In the new NFL with quarterbacks it's quarterbacks and receivers. That's who you draft. Running backs are afterthoughts. We saw the receivers drafted this year. I think that kid goes in the top 10. Well, I'm going to go a little bit out of order here because we wanted to kind of get a little more to the UNM side. But as far as UNM goes, when you talk about receivers, Luke Wysong, what a game.
Yeah, sensational night for Luke, especially coming off of that drop with 5 minutes left against Montana State. You knew there was going to be a certain level of response. It's what you've seen from Luke, and I mean, he really showed out. I think it was, I don't remember if it was the first drive or not, but Wallace Unamba got called for hands to the face. That penalty bumped them back to 3rd and 20 on Arizona's side of the field. And it's kind of like you've seen this movie before. You've seen a G5 team kind of go into a P4 or P5 environment, and you kind of and you have a chance, and then something like that happens, and then it's you go behind. It's hard to recover from that. No, Luke Weissong 31-yard reception to keep the sticks moving, keep the drive alive.
Double covered.
Double covered.
In the crowd.
Yep, I got it on the sidelines. Just a really good performance. Bronco raved about him in his press conference yesterday, and just said, like the resilience, the versatility, all that was on display. And it was a new career high for Luke. I think it was 6 receptions for 129 yards.
No doubt about it. Luke is one of our main guys at 505 SVF, and just a little plug. When everyone's down in Las Cruces on the 28th for the New Mexico State Championship, the cancer event the fundraiser is being held on the Lobo football field. Luke is one of our guys who leads the way. He's been involved in that cancer challenge, and the Tuesday night before the game, on I guess it's the 24th, Luke will be at Lobo Talk at the Sandia Casino, raising money for that event. So Luke Weissong, great on the field, great in the classroom, and great in the community, and that's what name, image, and likeness is really all about. So we're going to take a break. We're going to get back, and we're going to talk about what a bye week is, and then we're going to talk a little more about New Mexico's offense. Stay with us.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on? Who are you guys?
Well, sir, I'm going to pick you up at the DWI checkpoint for drunk driving.
And that's when I have to come down to get you out of jail.
Well, temporarily. I'm Judge Torres.
They call him the Hammer. Hey, hot off the presses, champ.
I'm real proud of you, honey.
Way to make them happy back home, Captain. Who's that? That's your new buddy in jail.
If you're drunk,
blasted,
intoxicated,
ripped, plastered,
destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
But as of right now, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will be more conditioning, running, not practicing. Thursday night will appear like a Monday night, first exposure to the opponent. Friday will look like a Thursday. Saturday, Sunday most likely off, with Monday looking like a Tuesday. Tuesday looking like a Wednesday, with 2 Thursdays before we go to Auburn. Subject to change. I'll put a plan with a caveat.
Subject to change. All right, it's Bronco Pie Week. For you old-timers, kind of reminded me of Abbott Costello, who's on first, I don't know, third base, da-da-da. You asked that question.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Yeah, it was on Saturday night after the Arizona game. We asked Bronco if he had a plan for the bye week yet, and he said, "I'm not sure yet. I have Monday planned out, but we'll get through Monday and see what the rest of the week looks like." And we asked him on Monday during the press conference yesterday, 2 days ago actually, what what is the plan this week? And he gave that response, and so I think outside of the kind of the game day shifting, the regular game day, game week days and shifting around in that style, definitely some more rest this week in terms of I don't know, straight up rest, but I mean like not full contact practicing, more conditioning. They will have an early exposure to Auburn this week. I think that'll happen tomorrow on Thursday, and then obviously the answer you gave about next week, it certainly plays around. So.
Subject to change.
Subject to change.
Everything he said. So don't write it down. You just heard it. It could happen one day at a time. Well, it's interesting. I had in the off season leading up to the schedule, in conversations I had with the coaches, this was brave new territory, 3 byes. And then 2 games in August. I don't think anyone on the staff had that. And then a bye week. So when you listen to Bronco, it's kind of not a bad time for a bye week. You jam 2 games in, P4, I have to get used to that, P4 competition on the road, and, you get beat up, physical. It's a physical game. It's not bad to have a week off.
No, I think, one of the things that when the schedule did drop and it was released and it was finalized and we would ask him about the schedule, he said, it's new to me, but we'll figure out a way to make it work. And I think you're seeing UNM find a way to make it work right now. You do need a little bit more time. They do need a little bit more time to kind of recover and kind of reset, and it does help, after the kind of 2 games that they had, to kind of sit back and reassess, some of the things that they were doing those first 2 games.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But if you know Bronco, and even if you have a vague familiarity with him, he's going to figure it out. He's not going to guess. He will have a plan. So there we go. We've got. We'll talk about the next opponent in the next session. But let's finish up Saturday night. What did we see from New Mexico's quarterback?
Yeah, I think, 24 of 42 completions on pass attempts. I don't know his passing numbers off the top of my head. He did lead the team in rushing, 130 yards. It was a career high for Devin. He did not run as much against Montana State, and what we were kind of told is that was a symptom of Montana State clearly wanted to kind of lock him down and kind of fight him more as a passer, or defend him more as a passer. And Arizona, on the other hand, did, to be honest, a pretty terrible job kind of sealing the edge for Devin.
He had a lot of room.
A lot of room and a lot of chance for him to kind of, just gain those yards and keep drives alive, and that's something that Devin is quite eager to do and quite good at doing. There was, the 3 pass TDs was a career high. He did throw his first 2 career interceptions. One of them was just kind of a forced ball that you got to figure out a way to, not make that throw. And then the other one was kind of a freak play. Bounced off Sean Miller's numbers and into the arms of Traydon Stukes, their star linebacker. I think Devin has the interesting thing going on right now in that on social media, it used to be the kind of Pac-12 after dark guys. Now it's, these kind of Mountain West after dark games, and it's kind of, he has that little cult following on social media.
Yeah, well, it's a little cult following now, New Mexico, but if he continues on this line that we've seen, and I see no reason why he won't continue to excel and get better, we're going to have a lot of interest in our quarterback. So again, 505sports.org. Offensive line played pretty well.
Yeah, and Broncos said on Monday, it was a mixed bag in the sense that they were not as successful run blocking in between the tackles as they probably would have liked, and I think that was readily apparent to anybody that watched the game. But second straight game, they didn't give up a sack, and I gave them kudos for not giving up a sack against Montana State in the sense that they had an All-American coming off the edge on one side and a really good player in Ken Iden on the other side too. To do it against this Arizona defense. In a situation where, frankly, you're expected to be kind of overmatched in the trenches, I think that's pretty impressive. I think it's certainly a credit to Devin, too, and Devin also kind of having the poise to stay alive and move around the pocket a little more than other guys, but I think that is impressive.
I was really impressed with his pocket presence, considering his lack of game experience. I mean, second game, full game in his career against the top 25 team. And we talked off camera, they have a lot of depth on defense. Arizona guys kept coming in, they kept switching in. They have more than 11 guys.
Yeah, and they have, you know, they got the workhorses in the middle with their their 3 linebackers. But I mean, you know, that 4-3 they kind of run with Dwayne Aquina as a DC. I mean, like they rotated a million defensive linemen like coming in and out.
I know, fresh on almost every other play. So. And we saw Caleb Medford catch a touchdown pass at the end. Kind of nice. Kind of was waiting for him. Didn't hear much from him, but he looked good on that play. Hopefully confidence comes back and he's ready to roll.
Yeah, I think, and that was a question we kind of asked Bronco after the game, was just what is kind of the route to getting guys like Medford and to a certain degree Nick Trujillo a little bit more involved. And they said, you know, Devin also said this too, it's not so much we're pinpointing, we're going to throw it to this guy here, which makes sense. That's offense. But it does seem like there is a feeling that you kind of do need to get them more involved down the stretch to, you know, kind of max out this offense.
Right, no doubt about it. Anyway, all right, that's it for part number 2. We're going to take a short break, come back with Sean Reeder and talk a little more Lobo football. Stay with us.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the pennies. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Kurt Roth, 505 SVF program, Sean Reeder, Albuquerque Journal. Last part of our show today. A couple of quick things. I wanted to say, and I have a message. Before the game, I spent about 15 minutes on the field at Tucson with Danny Gonzalez. And he greeted me and a bunch of other New Mexico folks who traveled with the team. He's grateful to see us. He was grateful for his time in New Mexico. Just if you know him, you know him. I don't have to tell you. If you don't know him, he's just a New Mexican through and through. And he wishes the best for Bronco Mendenhall. There's no jealousy. There's no resent. Danny Gonzalez is the real deal, and it was great to see him. And he said, say hi to everybody in Albuquerque. All right, Lobos have looked pretty cool on offense, except at the end of the Montana State game. They put up a lot of points. People are optimistic, although 0-2. But what you have to figure out how to win. That's something that just has to happen.
Yeah, and you said, like, although 0-2, like, it is not even although, it is 0-2, right? I mean, you know, we asked Bronco after the Arizona game. It was weird, kind of, not weird, but it was interesting in the sense that you just got 61 points put up on you, and you gave them a go in the first half, really hard, to a point that not everybody kind of watching at home and in the press box was totally expecting and the like. That happens, and he was talking rather glowingly about Devin and Luke and Noah Poole-Gates, who had a very nice game on defense.
Nice game.
One of the the few guys on defense that really kind of came out and really had that great night for himself. And I asked him, and it's probably like kind of a terrible question. It was like, but it was like, you seem, it might be too strong of a word, but you do seem kind of pleased. Like you're kind of like talking about all this with, a thin smile and all that. And he's like, well, yeah, no, we're not pleased. I mean, we're 0-2 like that. Like he didn't say it stinks, but like it's something there. So I think, yeah, I mean, it's you have this, if you're a fan, you kind of have a rosier view than you have had in the past. There's a level of competency and a level of effectiveness that you kind of haven't seen quite yet. They haven't seen in a minute in terms of the offense and all that. But the defense, I mean, it has to get itself right in terms of giving up big plays. And I think it certainly matters the context of who they've played. Montana State, phenomenal running game. And then Arizona, the Fafita-McMillan connection is one of the best in the country. But at the same time, you have to show that you are able to, consistently limit those big plays and make sure that they're not undoing you throughout a game.
Yeah, it'll come to pass in the very, very near future. All right, before we get to Auburn, let's see what impressed you, if anything, around the Mountain West this week.
Oh, Nevada, 100%. I was really, really, really impressed with what they did against Troy. Troy is, I think, Gerard Parker's the new head coach there. Troy is consistently a really good program, and for them to go on the road and take that lead and be able to hold on to it late, that was extremely impressive to me. I think everybody kind of thought Jeff Choate was a good hire for Nevada, but it was going to take probably the most time of any of these new hires, and the fact that they did that was really, really impressive. I think Fresno State giving Michigan a good go. You had some questions there what that was going to all look like with Tim Skipper kind of as the head coach right now. We'll see how that kind of develops after Jeff Tedford stepped down. Thought that was very impressive as well. In terms of things that did not impress me, Colorado State. I know it's a mismatch, but I think even some Colorado State fans were expecting a little bit more out of that.
Yeah, and I think in terms of UNM and our recently departed athletic director in his first football game over at Houston had a little bit of a problem.
UNLV, yes. That was a really good performance. Yes, Sluka, their quarterback that they brought in, the Holy Cross kid, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. He played mostly pretty well, and that run game, the go-go, is always a chore to deal with. So, yeah, definitely impressive there.
Welcome to the Big 12, Eddie. All right, a week and a half, Auburn. SEC. What do you know? Not much yet, but what do we look for?
Yeah, they have a quarterback that actually, technically, I went to school with, Peyton Thorne. He was part of the, the Peach Bowl team at Michigan State in 2021, and now he's at Auburn. I think this has got to be his last year of eligibility if I'm 2 years into the workforce and he's still doing this. But yeah, Peyton Thorne, some ups and downs last season for sure. Head coach Hugh Freeze has repeatedly said, he has our blessing. We think he's getting even better. They are going to bring a very strong run game to the table as well. Defensively, I'm not going to say quite yet that there's questions, but it wasn't exactly their strongest suit last season. They were when they got going midway through the season, right before they got dropped by New Mexico State. It was off the fact that the offense was flowing really well. Defensively, we'll see. They've recruited at an extremely high clip in terms of the prep ranks and all that, and they've made some waves in terms of in-state stuff in Alabama. But we'll see how that kind of just meshes in terms of all they've added via the portal and all that.
Yeah. Well, the other thing you mentioned, you just said the words New Mexico State, and apparently ESPN can still not differentiate between UNM and New Mexico State. Hopefully, Auburn knows we're not New Mexico State, and they're not looking for revenge. They realize we're a completely different team. All right, Sean, well, listen, thanks for being with us. We'll get you back on. It's always a pleasure. I am still confident. 0-2, we kind of expected it. We hope for Montana State. It's going to be a rough one down in Alabama. For us, we're going to take a week off for the bye. We're going to have a bye on this show. But hang with us. We'll have lots of Lobo stuff on a regular basis. We'll continue to bring the people who know what's going on this show. And we need your help, though. It's 505sports.org. Let's keep these teams intact. Let's keep our coaching staff here. It's all part of being a Lobo fan. 505sports.org. Help us out. Anyway, we'll be back 2 weeks. Go Lobos. Cool.
What's going on, Lobo?